Last question, as a Chinese American man, I love pasta. What happened?
We brought the pasta.
From The Godfather to Jersey Shore and from garlic bread to Chef Boyardee, since arriving in the 1900s, Italian Americans have made their mark in American culture. So we're here to ask the real questions today. Is spaghetti and meatballs authentic? Do Italians consider themselves white? Did pasta come from China? Listen, we're going everywhere from Italian American food to dishes straight from Florence. Get ready, because everything in New York feels like a mini movie.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our brand new series called The World NY. NYC is filled with so many different cultures that came at so many different times, but perhaps one of the most iconicized through media is the Italian American.
So today we're here with our friend Marco Lombardi.
Hello everybody, my name is Marco Lombardi from the Lower East Side. I'm 100% Italian, fourth generation. I'm half Napolitan and half Sicilian. This is Emilio Bellato's authentic Italian food, and it reminds me a lot of my grandmother's cooking, so we're gonna have fun, we're gonna feast.
Hey, don't worry guys, we're social distancing. We had masks on, we just took them off in the intro. But yo, Marco, we gotta eat.
Let's feast, guys.
All right, you guys, we are sitting in front of round one here at Emilio Bellato. So Emilio Bellato, it's authentic, but it's also Italian-American at the same time, correct?
Yes, correct. So I think most of these dishes we have right now, I think they're mostly all Italian-American because everything has cheese on it. All right, guys, so we have the appetizers right here. We got the focaccia bread. I usually eat garlic bread, usually with some mozzarella cheese on it. So this is like very Italian-like for me to eat. So for the first dish, we got meatballs with spaghetti, and we got the marinara sauce with a little basil, and this looks amazing, guys. All right, so we got our lasagna with, I think that's mozzarella cheese on there, with a nice marinara sauce. This is the chicken parm. It's another like staple of like Italian American tradition right here. This is like what I grew up eating on like Sundays. It's a very light sauce. You have your linguine and your clams, nice seafood sauce.
Hell yeah. Did you guys serve it up with the tongs too?
Oh, of course, yeah,
hell
absolutely, yeah. One day I actually put my fork in there and I got screamed at and hit with a wooden spoon.
Oh,
so I stopped doing that immediately because my grandmother doesn't play no games.
Spaghetti meatballs.
That's good.
Wow.
Wow. Yo, that is not Olive Garden.
That's not Olive Garden.
That is not Olive Garden. That's super good too.
Oh, the pasta is really firm. I like it, man.
Yes, yes.
We're getting into the lasagna now.
The layers are really soft. I feel like that's house made.
That's house made for sure. And
Let's do the linguine with clam, man.
that's my favorite.
This linguine with clam, I think, is the best
This
one.
reminds me, honestly, of a Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Sunday, watching football with my whole family, and my grandma's cooking this for most of the day. Do it, guys.
But did you guys try the anchovy Caesar?
Yeah.
I don't think we
Yo, the anchovy.
anchovy
Hold on, I'm
Caesar.
sorry.
Anchovy
All this
set
talking, I
that
didn't get a
off.
chance.
So real quick, what's the difference between your two sides? So you said you're half Sicilian, half Napolitan. Those are both in southern Italy, but what's the difference between the two?
So Sicily is an island off of Italy. Yeah, you're way south. You're like close to Africa. Different. So in Sicily, you have more farms, and it's an island off of Italy, and you're right by the Mediterranean Sea. So you're darker. You're just darker people, and with
More mixed with the North Africans.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Northern Italy, you share the border like by France.
You could look pretty different north to south.
Exactly. Yeah. Like way different. Like a guy from like Northern Italy can have blue eyes, curly hair, when a guy from the South, he's more of a dark type of features he has.
You would say then you're like, in a funny way to say, you're like half light skinned and half dark skinned.
Exactly. Yes.
In context of the Italians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's funny because when people ask me like, "Are you white?" I'm always like, "No," and they laugh at me. They're like, "No, like well, you're a white guy," and I'm always like, "No, I'm actually an Italian from Sicily."
So yeah, that's really interesting. A lot of people don't know because I think a lot of times when people come from any region to America, it's just like, oh, you're this. It's just one thing.
It's just one thing.
When
yes.
you go to Italy, they're super provincial, right? They're super like, well, where are you from?
Where are you from?
Which
Yeah.
pasta do you eat? Which sauces do you use?
Yeah,
Like,
what's
which
your favorite
dialect
dish?
do you speak, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's funny because whenever I tell people like I'm half Sicilian and half Napolitan, they're always like, which one do you prefer? Because I guess they don't like each other, and I believe it's because of Sicily, that's where the mob started. So people in Italy, they don't like to talk about it at all, and it's like frowned upon, I guess, to be like Sicilian. So there's times where I have to like fill the person out, and I'm like, oh, I'm Napolitan, and and then he'll be like, and what? Sicilian.
So it can even get tribal within Italian Americans
Exactly,
based
yeah.
on where your grandparents are from. When you were with the Sicilians, or are you ever playing up the wise guy like identity? And then when you're with the more northern side, you're more like, of course the Romans.
The Romans,
very
you know, they were cultured
Yeah.
guys, you know, they were great people. But yeah, you know, not really all the time though, honestly.
But you're saying back in the day it was more like that.
Yes, absolutely.
People cared more.
Oh, people cared more.
All right, we are wrapping it up here at Emilio Bellato, and we're gonna go take a quick walk around Little Italy, and then we're gonna end off the video at a very, very traditional, authentic Italian spot.
Where do you like to go eat?
I don't like to go in Little Italy, to be honest. It's too touristy, but I like it here.
I understand that. Forget about me. Other places, I want to learn too. I want to go to a nice place. I'm looking to learn every day. Tell me where.
Come on,
How about you guys? You could come in with this. What do you think? What do you like?
Go
This
to
is
Italian.
more. It's Italian food, but a little bit very Americanized. You know how meatballs started with spaghetti and meatballs? It's Sundays, Southern Italy. We make meatballs. We fry meatballs in lard, and we eat it because in Southern Italy we don't have much olive oil, and it's very expensive. So everybody had a pig. Once a year they kill the pig, they take the fat, they make lard, and they made meatballs. And when they made meatballs, the majority is bread, because a long time ago, meat was a lot of money. So they would put a little percentage of cheese, eggs, and they would fry the meatballs. The meatballs you eat nice and warm every day.
Straight
the
up.
next day, when you get tired of them, they put a little sauce on it, and they make a little tomato with.
Oh,
You understand
so putting
what
the
I mean?
meatballs in the spaghetti was almost like a way to get the leftovers eaten.
Yeah,
Sort of,
there you
okay.
go. We make food very simple here.
Simple food.
Simple, like I said, the best ingredients bring the best
Money can
product.
buy maybe 4 or 5 ingredients. That's the key.
And it's made with love.
With a lot of love.
Love.
A lot
It's
of
authentic.
love. And you know what? The owner is always got to be here.
Okay, so the clam linguine and the chicken parm, those were the best I've ever had. And Emilio, the owner, definitely did live up to the hype too. It was like a scene out of The Sopranos. It reminded me about how good Italian food can actually be. The portions are huge, the ingredients are great, but bring some friends, because, you know, the good stuff ain't cheap.
What is a Lower East Side Italian's opinion on Little Italy?
It's very nostalgic to me. Even just the smell of like the pastry shops. Even in Little Italy, there's a feast in September. It's old culture and old Italians eating, dining, one big like party. It's like.
Do you think in 2020 it's kind of like lost its community feel?
Yeah, I definitely think that. Yeah, and you know that older generation. You know, a lot of them are older now. A lot of them like moved out of the neighborhood. And it's just not really the same anymore.
I had barely been into Italian restaurants before, to be honest, and that is definitely one of the more expensive ones, but the higher quality ones, and it gave me that real authentic experience.
All right, just like Emilio Bellato said, we got to get an espresso. This is actually my first time getting a true espresso. Did you do this growing up?
Yeah, more for like family events though, more than anything. Before we drink it, guys, say salute for health. Let's go.
Salute.
Salute. When we walked in there, man, something that you kept talking about was the rainbow cookie.
It's my favorite Italian pastry. You know, you got your chocolate on the outside, you got your jelly on the inside, and you know, the best thing about it is that
It's almost like a
Got the Italian
PB&J,
flag.
right? Oh, this is the color of the Italian flag.
yeah.
Rainbow cookie.
Come on, how good is that, man?
I feel like that each layer has different flavor.
I'm getting more of the chocolate with the jelly.
Portino. This name you had to get some clarification on, right?
That reminds me, what we're eating right now, of how an Italian pastry shop smells. That's what you're eating. I mean,
Oh, it does. All right, let's get in these cannolis real quick, man.
that's really good. That like cinnamon vibe right now, right?
Apparently, this is something from Italy.
Oh, that's really good for that.
Wow. Is there alcohol in there?
Because it almost tastes fermented, right?
It's like fermented, yeah.
I guess this is a crazy, weird way to put it, but like, how do you fit in with like Anglo whites? Like more like people
White
who have been, you know what I mean? Their grandparents, great-grandparents don't speak another language. It's been English for
It's
like
like
10
Dutch
generations.
like generation. I get along with them pretty good, to be honest. I get along with everybody pretty well, but
Do you feel like they look at you different and you look at them different?
I think they look at me different, just the way I speak, the way I talk to people, the way my culture is. But for me to look at other people like that, I usually don't tend to do that. I know that I get looked at in a different way for the most part by the Anglo-Saxon whites, for sure.
But
because
is it-
how
yeah.
I speak and how I look, especially, you know, they see the watch, the jewelry, the chest hair coming down to my ankles.
Right,
You know,
they're
so
immediately thinking a lot of things, right? Like
They're thinking,
they're
like,
immediately going to like tropes in their head
Exactly.
for movies. Right?
And that's where like the stereotypes begins. It begins there, you know. Oh, look at this Italian guy from New York City, from Little Italy. No,
Right,
I get that a lot.
do they ever be like, hey man, like know somebody we
know
took
somebody?
whack somebody?
Yeah. And, like, one day I was driving and somebody asked like, "Oh, you're Italian?" And then he looked like, "You know people?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have 3 bodies in the back of my truck." And they're like, "Oh my god!" Like they stepped right on the wheel. Like, so I get that a lot, to be honest with you. But I just laugh about it now because I got that for so long that to me it's like normal almost.
What do you think about people who I guess are more like the situation of Cuomo's, where they're like trying to come up in American society and they feel those stereotypes are holding them back? Whereas like for you, maybe, you know, me knowing you play ball, you're more in the urban community, you're kind of like more multicultural like that. But what about the Italians that are trying to enter high society in America, where that WASP background might be something more desired and more trusted than the Italian?
Yeah, because I think it's hard actually, but I also feel that those guys who make it, they did everything they can, like Cuomo, to be where they are in society. But you're always gonna get your stereotypes. You know, it's just how you go about it. Like Cuomo's brother didn't go about it in a good way. You know,
Kind of confirmed it.
yeah,
right?
and he kind of confirmed it, but he apologized, which I respect those Cuomo so much, both of those brothers. But you have to try to look at those stereotypes and laugh about it if you want to try to be better than, I guess you could say, like your average Italian.
Cannoli King, right?
Cannoli King, pal.
All
What's
right,
happening,
man.
brother?
This is the friend Marco.
What's up?
Hey,
Nice
Marco,
to meet you. How's it
pleasure.
going? Pleasure to meet you.
What are these guys? Rapping or something?
He's an Italian American, and we were talking about like how can Italian Americans continue to represent Italian culture? How do they keep doing it, even though you know, Little Italy is shrinking? Maybe.
Let me tell you something. All neighbors are shrinking. Chinatown's shrinking
Yeah,
too.
that's true.
When we were kids, it was all Italians around here. But as our kids got older, and we want to, especially me, I want my kids to go to better schools. They had to move out of New York City. Not Little Italy in particular, just out of New York City. And we moved to Jersey, and we got better schools for them.
That's where
But as an
moved to.
Italian American, I still live the life.
Right.
I still, I still Italian pastries. I don't speak the language too good, I understand it. But the culture's still here, the people are still here, the food is still here, our beliefs are still here.
My man here, he's from the Knickerbocker. He's from
From
LA.
Knickerbocker, yeah.
He's one of the last Italian kids in this neighborhood.
Now when you say Knickerbocker downtown,
Not in Brooklyn, the Knickerbocker over here, my church.
aren't you from there? What's your name?
Marco Lombardi?
You relate to V?
Yes, my uncle.
Or V Lombardi?
Yeah. My uncle.
Oh, my man V.
Yeah, I'll tell you where X from.
Baby
Same
John.
X. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see that's small
Yo,
world.
that's community. I love
Community
that.
right here, yeah.
His neighborhood is not Little Italy no more. It was never. The Chinese
It's
invaded
Chinatown
them.
extended now.
Invaded. Now, but Little Italy is still Little Italy on Mulberry Street. Because we have the restaurants. They got a different group over there. They're locals, it's people residents. Over here it's commercialized.
Absolutely.
His neighbor's not commercialized.
Chinatown and Little Italy have been next to each other for many years.
We have an organization called Two Bridges.
Oh,
I'm sure you heard of that.
Right here.
wow.
Right on the shirt.
I've heard
Yeah,
of Two
Two
Bridges.
Bridges,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the organization name. as
After
well.
9/11, we went broke, Chinatown went broke, and when we advertised Chinatown, right, and we stuck together, two of us.
Last question, as a Chinese American man, I love pasta, I love ravioli, I love tortellini,
You know what they say.
but I love noodles and dumplings.
But
Where-
they say,
what happened?
we robbed the pasta from you guys.
What do you think? Or you don't know? It doesn't.
You know, no, I wasn't around then. I love Chinese food. Let these people know that when they come down this area, they gotta come to Little Italy and Chinatown together.
Yeah. Make that show. Go to both. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
make sure you send them my
I
love.
will. Take care.
Okay,
Take care. Thank you.
please.
No, for sure. I
Hey,
haven't
Vin,
seen
with
him
Baby John.
in, definitely. I'll tell him that. I haven't seen him in. I'm
Small world.
Yeah.
I'm Michael's son. Yeah.
Listen, like a lot of other non-Italian American kids out there, when it comes to ravioli, lasagna, and baked ziti, I've only either had the Olive Garden version or the microwavable version. So how about this time we just try a good version?
Now, Art, you guys, we are having an Italian-American feast here at Lamello. There's so many different levels between Olive Garden and like what people are eating in Italy. We had to fill it in. This is more towards the Olive Garden side, but definitely still more authentic than that.
So we got some stuffed mushrooms here. This is for me, a homemade grandma meal right here. This is what I eat on Sundays.
Stuffed mushroom. What's inside is essentially a lot of vegetable and a lot of cheese, and has like that nice butter sauce on top of it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what makes it American. In Italy, mostly they don't use really butter. They use a lot of olive oil.
Here we have some well done garlic bread. Told me it's almost like bruschetta at this point. Wow. Can we dip our garlic bread in the mushroom sauce?
it's gonna be a sin if you don't.
All right, so we're talking to the manager here, and he's actually Albanian, but he speaks Italian and Spanish. And Albania, I just learned, because I didn't know anything, is actually really close to Italy. All right, David, I have a piece of fresh basil for you, and a stuffed mushroom. Dude. Open mushroom stand-up. I feel like it's 1975 Mulberry Street.
How you doing?
The American Italian feast has arrived. Serve the baked ziti up. Serve
All right,
the
so
baked
let's do
ziti.
this, guys. Oh yeah, so this is a very American Italian dish. You know, you got the ziti pasta, and you have your cheese. And in Italy, you're never gonna find a dish like this. But if I go to Italy and I ask them for baked ziti, I'm either gonna get kicked in the head, or they're gonna tell me to get out of the restaurant.
A mangiare bene, buon appetito a tutti, bello.
Baked ziti. You know, I might have had it at like a hospital cafeteria before. This is good. This is good though. This is better.
And in Italy, you might not find the portions this big. Like we eating for 3 of us, I feel like there should be 10 of us here eating all this.
This is shrimp parmesan.
Shrimp parmesan. Way better than chicken.
What kind of prawns are these, bro? These are like lobsters.
Let me serve up this vodka sauce.
For me, this is like the most basic dish, honestly. And I actually had this yesterday.
What is vodka sauce? Is that a mix?
It's a heavy cream sauce. It has a touch of tomato sauce, Parmesan cheese, and vodka in it.
Are we gonna get drunk after eating this?
You know, it doesn't have that much to get you drunk, but you'll be like kind of that kind of tipsy.
Vodka penne.
Yo, this one's really good.
Very good.
Wow, I gotta say, man, I'm surprised because you look at it, it looks plain because there's no meat, but the pasta is cooked perfectly. It's still very chewy.
Dude,
That is a lot of cream.
that's a lot of cream. Like,
hell of a lot.
that is dangerous.
All right,
In a good way. Yeah, I'm an animal, so I just go in right with the fork and just make a mess.
Chicken fettuccine Alfredo. I don't think anybody in the world can hate that, except maybe people from Italy.
Yeah, it's a truth, really. So we got the chicken franchise with the rigatoni.
Chicken franchise.
I would say the chicken franchise like kind of lacks some of the conventional appeal.
I feel like it's very like light. Like it's good for now.
After having this meal, authenticity does not necessarily directly correlate with deliciousness. John, I need to see you eat like 2 of those shrimps.
I don't know why. This is my favorite part when I eat. This is so much fun.
So excited. My
No, I think-
God.
There we go.
Much hype, penne.
You get that much money?
We're not at Olive Garden anymore.
We had a good discussion off camera because we concluded something.
I would choose honestly the Italian American dish, obviously over the real like authentic Italian. But if I'm trying to impress a female, I'm gonna take her to probably Emilio Bellato's, show off a little bit, teach her the real culture of Italy, and then after 2 or 3 dates, I bring her here, and then maybe a dollar pizza the next date.
All right, that wraps it up for the Italian American section. And our next spot we're heading to is actually a Tuscany spot.
No, 你是哪里人?
Yentai, yeah, that's where our mom's side is from.
Tell me that.
Yeah. 我妈妈是烟台人。福山。
那他是我弟弟。
Yeah, 我是他弟弟。对。
Okay, so time for some food that's so Italian, Marco's never even tried it. Tuscany is a region known as the birthplace of the Italian Renaissance, having a major influence on architecture, art, statues, and all that high culture. In fact, it has a pretty different reputation than Sicily, so this is gonna be interesting.
How different is the Tuscan cuisine from something that we might be familiar with if we just had
The Sicilian is more south. They use a lot of the tomato, of course. And of course, down there in south, they use more seafood. In Tuscany, they have the meats.
We're here in the South Village at Altessi Ristorante. This is run by people from Italy. We just spoke to the manager. He's from Italy. He tried to speak Italian to you.
Yes, I had no clue what he was saying.
Hey,
But it's not in my
hey,
head.
did you see his reaction when you're like, no, I don't speak Italian? No, you don't speak
Yeah, he
Italian.
got so upset.
He goes, you don't. He goes, I think he said, don't speak Italian. This is sliced veal from Tuscany with arugula.
This is the vitello tonato. This is the carpaccio, the raw beef.
Have you ever had that before?
Never had that before. It's really good.
Yo,
This is my first time.
this is the best Italian food I've had in one day, man. Let's try this
This.
burrata. Burrata is a very creamy, soft mozzarella cheese over arugula.
If you take the camera, we get this all for free, right? It's on the house today? I like that.
For free. Enjoy.
Sicilian hustlers, oh man. Tagliatelle with ragu.
This is lamb. Taglioni.
This is the
squid ink pasta.
taglioni, the squid ink pasta. This is definitely something I feel like traditionally is more from Italy versus Italian American.
Yes.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Oh, I love that spice.
Gotta kill it. All right, the lamb is amazing in this. But the spice, bro, that's what takes it, dude.
Along with the top-notch calamari, we could also feel there was some inter-Italian hierarchical shade being thrown between Marco and the manager. You know, it was all in good fun, but it does go to show you the diversity within Italy. So let's end off at a gelato spot that was just opened by a guy from Milan. Who knows who we'll meet next?
I can tell that while we're filming this and walking around, a lot of people are looking at you because I don't think that many people your age speak with your type of New York accent in this part of town.
So it's either my accent or I'm just really, really loud.
Right.
So it could be a little bit of both.
What am I, chopped liver? Oh, good fire pizza, happy hour on drinks, forget about it.
There we go. All right.
We're just looking for some gelato. All right.
Okay, all right.
Sicily specifically, it's a melting pot because you have historically, you have the Moorish conquest that came through about 500 years ago. You have the Franco-Gallic conquest. You have Greeks. You have a lot of Greek influence. So when you go to Sicily, there are certain parts of Sicily that when you have like in Catania, which is northeast, Arabic influence. When you have your southern regions of Sicily, you have your Greek influence. Eastern, you have your Greek also, and then your northern eastern region of Sicily, that's when you have like your Gallic influence, your Visigoths that came up. You have music, you have culture, and I think that's skirted over a lot when you're talking about when Americans think of Sicilian culture. I think it's unfortunate. That's just my own personal opinion.
Do you think it's just like a media thing that people found like they could make money off of it, so that's the angle they just get pushed and pushed because people think it's like it's cool in a bad way?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you have the elements of drama that play in and the elements that you can play off the media. Obviously, it's a lot more interesting to have a saga about crime and, you know, violence.
It sells. Hollywood loves that because it sells, you know?
And it's a lot simpler also. It's a lot simpler story to actually tell.
Right. Like why paint it with 20 brushes when you can just take one big brush?
Exactly. Unfortunately, you know, your southern Italian culture and your northern Italian culture are very, very different. Not only culturally, even in the modern sense, but historically as well. Your cuisines of southern Italy are completely different from northern Italy. Your music is different, your art is different, and your level of modernization is also, even nowadays, when you go to northern Italy, I mean, as far as industry is concerned, it's more than what we even have here.
So what would be your recommendation to like Italian Americans who like what should they do to maintain Italian culture in your opinion? Study the history.
Are you a history
I'm
teacher?
not a history.
Nah, I know you are. I heard your voice on the History Channel. I know.
It's the narrator.
Yeah, I know I did.
But clearly you have done some studying. You looked into it.
Yes.
Italian's been in America for what, like 100 years?
Yeah.
Roughly. Now in 2020, they're still kind of considered a little bit different than, I guess, like an Anglo-white. They're more melted than they were, right? What do you think other immigrant groups that are still in their second generation can take away from somebody who's like in their fourth or fifth?
I know the best answer to this. Don't lose your language. The Italian Americans as a group have assimilated more than any other group, and they've lost their language more than any other group. And that's the one thing that I can recommend. Don't lose your language.
Yeah, he's not talking about Chinese, but it applies to me.
I'm doing that Rosetta Stone once I get home.
Yeah, don't lose your language. That's the biggest thing that I can tell you.
That's it. I'm marrying a girl from China. That's it. We came back to Mo Gelato.
Which one do you like better?
Sicilian or not, believe me?
Yeah, like if you had to choose, which one would you choose?
Yeah, I think Sicilian is better.
Oh, man. I like that. Good man. That other guy at the other spot didn't like it.
All right, here we have a dessert that he kind of made up. This is the chocolate salami.
Wow, that's really good.
That's interesting. It's chopped up biscottis in like a thick dark chocolate brownie.
Yo, my biggest takeaway in all seriousness today was I'd actually never really been exposed to like this Italian world.
I don't want to be stereotypical, but it kind of did feel like a movie.
I love being able to experience this with you, Marco. Appreciate it, bro.
Yo, thank you for having me, guys.
Huge, man.
Guys,
It was like
great, man.
It was like, man, I feel honestly like more American.
And thanks for having me, guys. It was great. It was great. I learned a lot of things from you guys too today, so I appreciate that, man.
Hey,
I appreciate that.
Like I said, Marco, to me, I don't know if you feel comfortable calling yourself, you know, an up and coming like comedic personality or whatever.
Yeah, maybe one day, guys.
Yeah,
maybe one day you'll see me somewhere.
I'm predicting it.
Hey, leave it in the comments
That's it.
below if you would like Marco to go be a comedian somehow.
Yeah, if you would want to see
in
Marco
some
explain
way.
more
You
stuff
have
in
the
a funny
answers.
way.
Let me know. Let me know, baby.
All right, we're gonna have people vote, but yo, man, that was such a cool video because to be honest, it did force us to do a lot of research about Italy, to actually look into the story behind all the mob stories and the culture on why they became like this.
But also why
yeah.
that's just the stereotype.
Yeah, and
like that's
why-
just a small percentage of people. Thank you so much for watching this Italian-American episode of The World NY. Huge shout out to Marco Lombardi again.
Yo, my man, guys, we're
Brother,
family
man.
now, baby.
Could your
Alright?
name be more Italian? Lombardi?
Lombardi, I'm sorry, guys.
crazy.
My bad.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let us know your favorite thing that we ate in the comment section below. Please let us know another Italian-American fact, your favorite movie, your favorite tidbit. There's so many in popular culture. And until next time, we out.
Peace.
Yo, I was just saying that you know how cool that was because we're in little Italy, and the Cannoli King, he knew your family.
Yeah.
And then my good friend over here, the uncle driving us, he's from Yantai, Shandong, which is the very specific city that my mom is from. China.
It's
China's a big place.
It's such a small world. Like, look at it just happened. You know, it's such a small world, and it's like I said, the Italians and the Asian culture, they're so tight knit, and that's why I love it.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
You know
Yeah,
what?
I love you guys. You guys are family.
Yeah,
You
thank
guys
you.
are family.
Hey, we feel the same way, man. And it's, you know what's dope? Like, just like you have that camaraderie with everybody in Little Italy when you told them the apartment you're from, the building you're from, everybody knew.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of like us with our friend right here saying like, oh, you from where my mom is from? Like, oh,
It's
it's
easy.
lit,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
lit.
Small world though, man. It really is.
Yeah, and like you said, that sort of familial, almost like back to the old village days.
Exactly.